Welcome back to the channel, and today we're checking out 2 new instruments of destruction updates since the last time I did an update video, which was only like last week. I've actually missed an update since then. And as you can see, my vehicle isn't looking too well right now. I've got some flames. They seem to be dying down a little bit though. But the latest update actually introduces vehicle destruction on your own vehicle. So not only can you create an instrument of destruction, but your instrument of destruction can now take on destruction. As you can see, everything just looks absolutely terrible, except for like this one piece right back here. But if I just aim this down, straight down here, and I shoot, this is what happens. Yeah, so as you can see, well, at least the guns still work, but it's not doing too well anymore. It has disconnected the joint, and there's some weird sound effect that happens. I don't know if that's, I think I glitched out the sound somehow. But this is what the vehicle is supposed to look like, all fresh and new right off the assembly line. It seems like joints and stuff on your vehicle can now have destruction and can now be disconnected or destroyed in ways. And you can see there's a vehicle damage modifier here if you are selecting your cab. So I assume if you set it down to like this, let's actually see what this looks like now. Oh yeah, look at that. Like, see, it's not doing much of anything, is it? Oh, there is. Oh, look at that. You can see a little bit of destruction just in this area, a little bit of denting going on, but the ones in the back, they're not having nearly as bad of a time as everything up here. How's it looking now? It's a little score. Oh, we got some fire up here. These joints are not liking it. But now let's put the vehicle damage all the way up to maximum. And now let's see what this feels like. I love how the treads just came off of the tank tracks. And there's the gun. Oh, we did a shockwave too. All right, that was awesome. In addition to that, I don't know if you guys remember when I built this missile launcher, but the destruction itself just seems... It just seems kind of intense. Like, I guess these are like max power missile launchers, I think. But yeah, these buildings are just getting annihilated. Look at that. It feels so heavy. Like, the damage just feels so heavy. Look at that. It's so satisfying. But what I really wanted to check out, the update before the vehicle destruction update actually added some new pieces for destruction. Oh, here's one, the claw. A claw is a new one. So what I've heard about the claw is that it's essentially a barrel grabber. Like, I think that's actually its main purpose. It's not actually meant so much for destruction. So here, let me add a couple of them. I'm gonna add one vertical and one horizontal just to see what it feels like. There we go. Open and close. Let's see if they're capable of destruction at all. So if I go to grab the very corner of this building. Oh, yeah, these things are, they're exactly what I would expect. They're actually really destructive. They're basically weapons. Yeah, look at that. Or wait, are these buildings... Hold on, let me go backwards into a building. Are these buildings just like... Is my creation more destructive than normal? Huh. I do feel like destruction itself has changed a little bit. Some of the buildings do seem more fragile. I forgot that I also have vehicle destruction still on maximum. I should probably turn that down to a normal level, huh? So yeah, if you've ever wanted to build a vehicle that has a claw on it without having to design your own claw, here's a nice little claw here. And actually, speaking of little claw, is there a size difference? All right, no, these ones do not have a size difference yet. Oh, interesting. This one has a cannot break checkbox here. Oh, and a damage modifier. Ooh, let's push up the damage modifier and the strength. And, you know, I'm gonna make it sticky. I don't know what sticky means. Well, I know what sticky means. I just don't know how it applies to a claw necessarily. Here, let me go into spawn. These claws were specifically, I believe, for steel barrels. Oh, and another new update is explosive barrels. We can spawn in explosive barrels now. All right, so the strength, I believe, is the speed, but there was also a damage modifier. So let's see how, all right, it doesn't seem that sticky, does it? I don't know what sticky is supposed to do. All right, can I actually pick this barrel up like this? And hit. Ah, I tossed it. No, okay. So, I mean, it seems like the claws are perfectly valid as an instrument of destruction on its own. Here, let me try to grab this, this pipe here, or this beam. All right, and it's destroyed. But that actually isn't the highlight of what I wanted to look at. There's something somewhere. I have to find the part. It should be highlighted by like a new... Oh, wait, here, is this it? Oh, there's a power socket. Let me look at the power socket. This is not the part I was looking at. So this power socket, oh, no way. Is this gonna do what I think it's gonna do? It actually has controls set up into it. Oh, interesting. So this is like a universal joint that is controllable. That's really useful. That is so useful. That's a great piece. You no longer have to do like one pivot and then another pivot for separate up, down, left, right controls. So this is actually going to be great for turrets. That is going to be really good for turrets. Hold on, let me see. Is there a return to... There is a return to center. That is great too. You got angular range. Maximum is 60 degrees, it looks like. And damage mod. You know what? I don't know. I think damage mod is not what I was expecting. This is one of the new pieces. Maybe that actually applies to how it receives damage. So if I have this down to 0, maybe it cannot be destroyed as a joint, versus if it's way up, maybe it can actually be destroyed. And then cannot break is probably gonna override that. I don't know, that's just my assumption. But now that I have it returned to center, now you can see it goes around, and then when I release the controls, it returns back to center. It's kind of slow returning to center compared to the rest of the controls, but it does return to center. So you can opt to have that be a part of it or not, depending on what you want to use it for. All right, here it is. Here is the part that I was looking for. A shock blaster creates a small blast wave for a small price. So let me replace these claws here with shock blasters now. You know, I'm just gonna do one just so I can see what the effect of one actually is. So I'm gonna have it on its normal strength. Ooh, there's a range and a push multiplier. All right, let's see what the shock blaster is all about. Okay, so that looks like a mini shockwave, basically. If I hold it down, it's just a pulse. Holding it down doesn't seem to do anything. So let's get close to a building and see what the impact is. Shock blaster. Okay, that's not doing anything yet. Zoom in here. Okay. 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 All right, it takes... It's doing something. It takes a lot of shock blasts. All right, you know what? All right, I'm not gonna change the strength of it at all, but I do want to change the range. Just the range. I want to do one parameter at a time so I can really see the impact that that single parameter has. So now that I have range, oh, interesting. It doesn't actually show me the range. Like I thought the shockwave here would look different. Whoa, oh, you see that? Oh, big difference. That's actually really cool looking. I like this. This is gonna get so epic once we start ramping up the destruction. I'm curious what the actual range is. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Shock blaster is really cool. I feel like the shock blaster is going to be one of those things that can add some subtlety into creations. Like I'm imagining a creation, like if you have some type of piston or like punching mechanism with a sensor that when it detects that it's contacted something, it also sends a shock blast going through the direction of travel. That could be really cool. All right, so now that I have the range on maximum, let's put the push multiplier on maximum. All right, so I know I could probably reach the building from right about here. Let's see what the push multiplier looks like now. Interesting. It's not what I was expecting. Oh, there we go. It's starting. Huh. I don't necessarily know. I can't really see much of a difference with the push multiplier. You know, oh, you know what? I have a better test. I have a better way to test this. I'm going to put the push multiplier back down to 1. Let's put a pickup truck in front of the shock blaster. See how this feels. And shock blast. Huh. You can see the door denting. It's getting damaged, but it's not actually pushing it. Maybe that is what the push multiplier is for then. Put this back in front of it, and it's a little bit different. Huh. All right, you know what? Now I think it's finally time. I have not put the strength up at all. Let's put the strength up. Put the pickup in front of it. Whoa. The strength seems to affect me more. And actually, look at around me. What? Like all of the plants, is this a spherical shockwave or directional? Hold on. Whoa, look at all the buildings slightly shift. Oh, attach myself to the ground here. Man, this is kind of crazy. This is not what I was expecting it to be. It's a lot more of a subtle shock than I was thinking. But I like it. You have a lot of control over it. Okay, but this is not overdriven yet. Let's move that out. Let's put an overdrive on here. And oh, it actually looks like this does not get affected by the overdrive yet. So from what I'm reading in the patch notes of the Shock Blaster, this actually, I mean, if you look at it, it's in the flight category. This actually seems to be more geared towards pushing a vehicle, like pushing your vehicle as like a boost than anything else. It doesn't actually seem to be specifically made with destruction in mind, which explains why. Actually, no, it doesn't explain why it can't be overdriven. I'm assuming that that might have just been an oversight. But obviously, your Shock Blaster can be used to make shockwaves as well. You know what would be kind of cool is if you could set this to activate as soon as you reach the speed of sound. And then you could create your own sonic boom within your vehicle. And if you reach the speed of sound right as you fly by a building, you could actually break the windows. But yeah, as you can see, if I push the strength up all the way and the push multiplier all the way, then it has a decent amount. Yeah, look at that. You can basically make a vehicle fly from shock blasters alone. And that was kind of weird. It was like resetting my vehicle there. All right, and then... Woo! All right, but that's not all that was in these updates. There is also a bunch of new cabs. Before we only had 3 different cabs, but now there's a whole bunch of different ones that have all different aesthetics. Look at that, and different attachment points too. And then we have a fixed pivot and a fixed swivel. So these things, what I believe is, these are probably, I think, a little bit more for design. These are pivots and swivels that do not actually pivot or swivel. They just allow you, I think this is what they're for. They allow you to set a designated angle, but there's not an actual joint built inside. They are completely rigid. So when you were trying to design things with the other flex pivots and flex swivels and you're setting angles and stuff, there was a bit of a downside to that in that they did have some flexibility and strength and weakness to them. These things are completely rigid, just like any other piece, but they have the benefit of you can set whatever kind of weight you want onto it, and it's not actually gonna flex. So when this thing spawns in here, you can see that is a completely rigid angle right there. So that's probably not only going to improve vehicle stability, but also game stability as well as far as frame rate goes, because it's not going to be trying to calculate like flexing and joint positions and things like that. So another crazy thing is the aiming lasers have gotten a couple of updates. There is now a smaller version of the aiming laser, which is kind of nice, but there is a new setting called arc gravity. So you can actually have an aiming laser that accounts for gravity for if you have a projectile that is actually affected by gravity. Arc gravity, and then what is it? Arc base speed, firing range. Oh, look at that. Look at the range. So yeah, this is going to make it much easier to make accurate aiming sights for different types of projectiles if they have an arc to them. So that's actually, I never even thought of that. I never even thought of that being a possibility, putting an arc into a laser, because in real life, if you have a laser sight, you can't make it arc. At least not without violating some physics laws and spawning some black holes around you just to help you aim. Another new part, there are so many new parts to this update. There is a sequencer. Last time we saw a wave generator. Now there is a sequencer. So you could actually, oh, this is interesting. So this has multiple different outputs. So you could have this output a series of on and off conditions and a customizable number of steps as well. So you could basically create different sequences for if you press a button and you want a thing to happen in a certain sequence, like on and off, you could do that with this. So that's going to be a really powerful part for automated creations for sure. I guess Logic Gate's got an update too. There is now an XNOR and there is a NAND gate. So that's just going to give you some more logic options for you logic people out there. And then other than that, there's a couple of like quality of life building improvements to just being able to build easier. So for example, there's a mirror option now. So if I select this stuff and I press Control M, and actually, you can see I've copied a mirrored version of that. I've copied and pasted automatically in the mirrored state. Oh, here's an interesting one I just saw in the patch notes. So when you click on things, there is a material override on pretty much everything now that is not logic based. And in the material override, there's a setting called a no collide part. So you essentially make this a no collision piece, which is going to be great for really complex linkages and mechanisms, because you can set pieces to not collide with each other. So you can have stuff actually rotate through each other without having any issue with that. So let's actually put that to the test right now. I have a rotating thing right here. So if I spawn that in and then I try to, whoops, wrong button. And I try to rotate here, you can see I get stuck. But if I select material override, no collide parts, now when I rotate, look at that, no collision. It works exactly as intended. All right, and now for the last part of this video, I want to take the shockwave, the shock blaster. What was it called? Shock blaster? I just want to replace all of my cannons on this thing, or all of my missile launchers. I want to replace them with shock blasters, and I just want to see how much power these shock blasters can have in numbers. All right, so now if I select a single shock blaster and then do Shift T, I select all shock blasters, so I can now tune their strength, their range, and their push multiplier way up. Actually, I think the push multiplier probably only applies to me, but just in case, I'm just gonna have it there. Maybe we can see our vehicle brake or something. All right, let's get it close to this building here. I'm gonna attach myself to the ground, otherwise I'm probably gonna go flying. And 3, 2, 1. What? My vehicle freaks out. Look at that. I'm gonna break the game. I am totally gonna break the game. Or I'm gonna detach myself from the ground. I think I'm detached from the ground. Everything's detached from the ground. All the buildings are gone. Yeah, I'm detached from the ground. I'm gonna use it one more time now that I'm detached from the ground. And I'm also gonna use it facing downwards. I'm probably gonna shock blast myself into oblivion. All right, here we go. Shock blast off. This is so cool. I can totally see people using this as like a jumping mechanism. Why am I spinning like that though? All right, am I coming back down to the ground? Oh yeah, look at that. Nailed it. Oh, hold on. I want to try to land back on the island here. All right, I don't think this is gonna happen. Wait, no, I can do this. Just about timing. Come on. No. Wait, no, I got this still. Ready? And I'm dead. Well, I think I pretty much covered some of the more interesting parts of the latest updates. There's a lot more, like if you want to get into the details and nitty gritty, you can check out the update notes yourself, or you can just get in the game and start playing it and figure it out. Obviously, the possibilities of what you can build in this game are just growing and growing literally by the week. So I can't wait till the next workshop video to see what people do. But if you want to see me try to do something, I'm always looking for more ideas down in the comments that you think are within my abilities. So let me know down in the comments below. Okay, I just went through the island and destroyed everything at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because if you did, you'll probably enjoy some more stuff that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.